Tonight, we'll talk about China's wars. Not the ones that it's trying to wage on its borders, but the wars within. The wars that the Chinese state wages on its own people. Tonight, we tell you about three regions in China: Tibet, Inner Mongolia, and Xinjiang. These are among the largest in China. Among almost 5 crore people live here in these three regions, these three provinces. China has a population of a little more than 139 crores. And these three regions, Tibet, Inner Mongolia and Xinjiang, represents less than 4% of China's population. There are also 3 autonomous regions of China. Specific minority groups have a higher population here. In some areas, the population of minorities is more than the majority Han Chinese. And that is what Beijing wants to change. It has launched a relentless campaign of oppression, crackdowns, internment camps, indoctrination, coercion. China's minorities face all of this. We'll begin with Tibet. This week, we got you 2 reports about China's mass jails for Tibetans. Thousands of people forced into labor camps. Look at these. China says they're being educated, but they are being brainwashed. They're being detained against their will, forced into labor, and then shipped off to different parts of the country to do low-wage jobs. These are slave factories. The idea is to force Tibetans to give up their linguistic, cultural, and spiritual heritage. China wants to erase their identity by forcibly assimilating them. More than 500,000 Tibetans have gone through this training this year alone. It was followed by forced labor. Several thousands have already been sent to work in far-flung cities and towns. Officials in Tibet have been given quotas, targets, you could say. They must send a specified number of Tibetan laborers. Larger districts are supposed to supply more workers. Some numbers have been reported: 1,000 from the Tibetan capital of Lhasa, 1,400 from Shigas, 800 from Shannon. Those who cannot meet the targets are punished. Those who do are rewarded. Agents and companies are subsidized to organize transfers. The rates are fixed: $74 for each laborer moved out of the region, $44 for those who are placed within Tibet. There is no other way to describe this. Tibetans are being trafficked, and this is a state-sponsored racket. Then we come to Inner Mongolia. Same story. China wants to erase the unique identity of Mongolians. It is targeting their language. Last month, a new order was issued. School children must be taught in Mandarin and not the Mongolian language. The people protested. Students staged walkouts. Parents pulled their children out of schools. Online petitions were circulated. How do you think Beijing responded? It went after the protesters. They were threatened with arrest. The demonstrations were suppressed. Those who still protested were put under surveillance. Chinese officials targeted the parents. What you're seeing now are copies of a WeChat message, a message that was allegedly sent by local authorities to Mongolian parents. This was a warning. It says if parents did not send their kids to school by the 17th of this month, they will lose access to government subsidies. Banks were told to stop loans for the next 5 years to parents who did not comply. High school students who did not attend classes were threatened with expulsion. This is the punishment for protest in China. The state goes after you. It goes after your family. It goes after everything you've got. Then there's Xinjiang. Communist crackdown on steroids, you could say. The world's biggest detention program, mass internment camps, open abuse of more than 1 million people. The world has slammed China, but Beijing remains undeterred. It is building more detention facilities. The New York Times reported this today. The story has some numbers. There are some 380 suspected detention sites in Xinjiang. At least 61 have expanded their area. 14 are still growing. Remember, China is believed to have incarcerated as many as 1 million Uyghurs in recent years. And now it is raising down mosques. The Australian Strategic Policy Institute has come out with an assessment. They use satellite images to study how Xinjiang is being changed, and they estimate that around 16,000 mosques, you heard that right, 16 1,000 mosques have been destroyed in the last 3 years. According to this report, 8,500 have been completely demolished. 30% of this region's key Islamic sites have also been demolished. How much more proof does the world need against China? It is wiping out its minorities, their culture, their identity. Practicing your faith has become a crime in China. In the name of national cohesion, China has launched one of the worst oppression campaigns in history.